So, today, October 14th, it's Thanksgiving in Canada, but it doesn't really mean that much because, well, the markets are still open. If it was a significant holiday, the markets would be closed. All right, let's go and pull up. Here's my trading view. And let's go ahead and, yep, there we go. That should all be good now. Yes, indeed. Here we go. Let's go check out the charts. This morning, we're going to start off with the precious metals again. Had a nice little rally there towards the end of the week. Today, silver is dipping back down into this beautiful pivot zone for another reaccumulation of volume. Likely, I would expect over the next week that we will be reaching a new high for this year, beating out this previous high at about the $33 level. This is, what else is this happening here? Well, you can see that when it dipped down, it actually touched this line right here. Oh, I already have one there. It's just a little dim. There it is. So yeah, it touched this line here. And so this is a really good indication, especially since these lows have been getting higher and the highs have been getting higher. We can definitely see the expansion that is ready to go. My first target where I think there will be a next pullback will be at about the 33.8 level. And then beyond that, we're looking at a target at the all-time high at 35.2 by the end of the year. With gold, we've been pushing very well, using this pivot zone as support. It's going to, I expect new highs in gold this week, and likely onwards we'll be going up towards my target for this is 2750, where I believe there will be another pullback, simply because that price level is it's a pretty psychological level, and I think the markets will respond with a correction shortly after that.
What's it at?
It is currently 2652. Okay. Oh, it just jumped up 2653.15.
Okay.
And it's actually climbing fairly quickly as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, this is going to be well, this here to me is a clearer barometer of the health of the dollar than the S&P 500 or the US 30 that we have coming in. And look at that, Friday and again today, all new highs.
And what's this?
This is S&P 500. This is an index of the top 500 companies in America.
Okay.
And it is currently at 5830.5. I'm not playing this one. However, I would recommend that if someone wants to emulate The Big Short, that this would be a great opportunity to do that. Great movie too. That you will learn lots about the economy if you watch that movie.
What's that on?
The Big Short. That's a good question. I know that there are a few streaming sites where you can get it. I'll send you a link.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Dow Jones formed a brand new high on Friday, but since that time, it doesn't look like. Yeah, since the all-time high on Friday, it has not been able to beat that. And even first thing this morning here, we're just in the first few minutes of the marketing opening, and you can see that there's a pretty good drop already here within this is a 15-minute representation. So all of these bars are 15 minutes worth of price action. And already here this morning, it's got a pretty good dip, falling. This is 0.25% right out of the gate, which, I mean, this can happen lots. But we can see that, it's falling today. This one here, Friday morning, it was rising. So we might see a correction coming back down into this area on the rest of the day. Although anything can happen. It could bounce back and even form a new high. Here are the Japanese markets. Oh, let's go back to the daily chart. All right, Japanese markets still having a difficult time beating out this this pivot point here, beating out this this 40,000 level. Don't know. We don't know whether or not it will, but I know that again, as with all of the main markets throughout the world, it is definitely a good time to be shorting these and gaining the profits between this price. And I would say that before we're done, meaning within the next 2-3 months, I do expect this price to fall below 2020 levels, which is down here at 16,000. So between where we are right now and where I believe the price will start to equalize, where it'll start to even out and kind of reconsolidate, will be a 59% drop in the markets over, again, that'll happen over a period of time. If it happens too fast in one day, they'll just turn the markets off and stop people from trading because they need to have control of it while it's going down. Onwards. I'm liking this. I'm liking where we're at right now. NPC coin, I've got a little bit of holdings in this. We can see that it's been maintaining above this line at 1.2 cents per coin. And at the moment, our first trade in July, that is now up and up 111%, 111. And then the second trade that we took is now up 141%. This is the reason why I'm excited about this chart, is because this all-time high on July 23rd, which already garnered a great profit from this trade, from the trade in July. Since that time, this pullback, none of these lows went below the low that was on July 11th. So having, it just touched it here. It just touched it again in August 5th. But since that time, it has been holding its own. And in the last 4 days, we have seen it close above that all-time high. And now it's retraced a little bit and hanging out there. But this is a good sign. The fact that there were 2 full days of price action that closed above that previous high, that gives us an indication that we are ready to go for a higher run. So we'll be watching this here very closely over the next little while, because this trade here that I took at the beginning of September, that trade there, I'm going to be closing that out once I double it. So between now and here, right now it's at 149%. Let's just get my ruler out. Yeah, 200% is the 4.2 cents, and that would double the investment on July, for September. Sundog, another meme coin I'm playing around with, just a smaller amount, but it's been hanging out here down at the lower range at the 22.2 cent level, and we're anticipating over the next couple of weeks price breakout over that all-time high. I kind of bought high because that's what I do. My trade strategy is, hey, when I see a good opportunity, I go ahead and start allocating funds toward it. And that was September 24th. Right now we're in a drawdown, 38% drawdown. But on the October 12th, we added to this position. And so now with this added position, I expect that this 30% rise is going to, because we have to come back to the level where we were at, it's 57% rise from where we are right now. And so I expect this to fulfill the cost of lost opportunity as this has come down. Also, this lowers my average cost for the entire asset so that I can profit more on the top end. Right now, it sits at 22.2 cents, and my target is a 75% growth at the 40 cents. Woo! Today, starting out very strong with a bullish candle that took us from negative from the trade taken on September 24th. We were sitting at a negative 9.79% this morning, and already since this morning has occurred, we have seen a 13% rise in price, now placing the trade on the 24th into profit. This would have been great to accumulate some more down here. I put it somewhere else for the time being. I will definitely be coming back into this after I see another retracement.
And what is this?
This is Woo. This is the that social trading platform I was telling you about. Yes. So when this price comes up and beats out this beats out the 22 cent mark, that's when I'll be watching for a retracement where I can come back in. And my target on this one is actually, what do I have it at? I want it to be at the previous high. Yes. So the previous high that I'm after is a 242% increase at 64 cents. When I reach that point, half of this asset will be sold, and I'll probably come back in again at another retracement.
What's the for mine? I bought on the 11th.
Oh, okay. Let's go on the 11th. See where you're at. October 11. That was in the morning that we did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the 15-minute chart and find that spot. Yes, indeed. You're doing very well. So on the 11th, we did that around, I want to say 10, 9, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're probably in this area. So right now, your trade is up 12%. That's great. Good job. Good job. ARK. Oh, this is the 15-minute chart. Back to the daily chart. Here we go. ARK. Another. This is an AI project that focuses on data privacy, and we had a beautiful retracement. We had a nice little push here at the on the 24th of September. Well, a little bit before that, 20th, and on the 24th, I made one allocation, and then another allocation on October 10th. And the one on the 24th is definitely in a drawdown of 22%. But then on the 10th of October, we added, and that trade is up. So you were on the 11th as well, probably that day. Mm-hmm. Did you get ARK?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So you're going to be up as well on that trade. That's the 11th. Yeah. So on the 11th, you came in at a good time. Yeah, you are probably, what does this say? Yeah. There we go. You are up 6% on this trade from where you came in. And my target for this particular trade is sitting at a 550% increase. So about 5.5x, I expect, to bring us back to the all-time high, that price point right there. And let's get the all-time high line. There we go. So that all-time high line is 15 cents. Right now we're sitting at 2.3 cents US. The next thing that I expect to occur will be a probably a little bit of a zigzag coming up to this point of resistance, a pullback into this range here, and then continuing upwards to make a retracement back on this line before we head up. So I expect this kind of pattern. I'll keep this here just for reference. Obviously, this is loose. Don't take this as financial advice, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this is the kind of motion I expect. Some Over this week, I expect it to come up to the 3.7 level, and then a little bit of a retracement back into, let's get this cursor unit here, back into this pivot zone here, and then use that as support going forward. For Tau, this is a bit tensor. It is doing very, very well, holding its own in using this area as support, this rectangle here, and strong support even in the sense that there's another pivot point, another pivot zone that is now providing support for the price as it's maintaining its position just above that at the $630 level. This is expected to go up to 2,500 or so. At least it is expected to surpass Ethereum and may even flip where it becomes a lot more than Ethereum, simply because of the infrastructure that it is providing for a lot of the computing behind AI for large data companies. Injective token, look at this. Over the last, over this last week or so, we've been seeing more of a, what was it, last week? No, it was already only the 10th. This particular coin has come up now 14% since the 11th. And we're looking, right now I'm looking at it coming back to the point where I purchased in June, mid-June. And from between here and June, even if it only does that, keep on clicking on things that don't let me use my ruler. So for us to come back to the place in June would be a 20% rise already from this location. We can see that it had a great time accumulating volume in this pivot zone here. So we can expect this to provide that support for the bulls to win against the bears here this week and next. Again, like I say, this next marker that I'm after is this would be probably the $30 mark, 28.9 rather. 28.9 is that next pivot point that I expect this price to kind of pull back. So if I were to draw this out, I think that we'll see something along the lines of this, with a retest of this before we have this resistance. And again, I think this could happen. This all could happen here within the next couple of weeks. Desync, decentralized storage. I keep on saying I'm going to clean up these lines so that they're not so loud. But here we are. I've got a few trades in this. I've got Desync that I started back in June. There's my tool. I got my trade that I started back in June. Currently, that is in a drawdown of, it's in a drawdown of 14%. It sits now at the 15.8 cent level. But then I accumulated some more on September 7th, and that has gone up 5%. And then again, I accumulated a little bit more. I added more to this bag on October 10th, and it is now up another 11%. So overall, I am in profit. We're just waiting for the price action to come back to the entry point from June, and then that will be a fully happy trade. Average price right now that I've purchased at between all of these trades, my average price is probably sitting around the 15-16 cents, just because I added more in the second two trades than I did when I first took it. We are likely to see more bouncing back and forth between these two trend lines as we've been seeing in the past. So this energy will probably increase as we bounce back and forth between these two lines coming to a center. And then when it breaks out, watch out, because I believe that where's my tool? I believe that when it comes down to it, this distance here of 2,800 pips will translate into a movement going up 2,800, and that would bring us to the 40-50 cent level. 40 to 50 cents. 48. And I can't see anything else that I would need. I mean, it had a nice dip into this consolidation zone here, or this pivot zone. That dip is very, very healthy. The fact that it didn't stay down there very long is also indicative of a nice movement going up. 0 by 0 hanging out at the bottom end of this pivot zone. This is a good sign, especially after this high coming in and reaching the 22-cent level. With a pullback down to 13, some people might get a little bit gun shy and wanting to get in. But because we have such a nice formation here, this is just beautiful. How when it got this was following this trend line, and then once it reached this blue line at the 9.8 cent level, that's where it was accumulating some volume. You can see as it touches that price point, it was like the bulls were like, nope, we're not letting you win, and they just kept on buying to keep that price above that support. And this nice big movement here is that is very, very encouraging to see, and we can expect that the people that profited this 121% growth, that when they started to sell in this area, and now they're starting to buy yet again because of this support at the 12-cent level. So very, very good outlook right now. On September 8th, I made a trade. Well, let's go back. On June 16th, that trade in particular is down 37%. But then the trade that I took on September 7th is now up 28%. And because my position was a lot higher on the 28th, I know that I'm definitely in profit between the two of those trades, because my dollar cost average is probably around the 12 cent mark or so. You made a trade again, I think, on this one, eh?
No, I didn't.
Nope. Okay, well then I marked a trade. That means that I must have added one. I'll have to double check. And that one on October 12th is already in profit by 5%.
Wondering if I can buy one today.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, we can do that. 0 by 0 is going to be a nice project. I think that. I'm quite certain. My target on these ones is the extension of this high here. The extension is set for 70 cents. So between here and 70 cents, we've got a 387% increase in price. And if you from my September 10th position will be up 500%, simply because I bought it at that lower price point. Here's 3 protocol. This is that project it's fairly new project that is this is a fairly new project that is focusing on building they're distributing Visa cards without know your customer protocols. I still don't really know how it works. I went looking around, poking around to see if I could get a part of this action. I would love to have a Visa card that I can just tap at a grocery store and it just withdraws from my crypto instead of me having to transfer into Canadian first, because those are transaction fees. Well, this project shows a lot of promise in being able to help people get access to Visa card without having to provide any identifiable information on that account. And as a result, I think that this project will do very well. I think that we're going to see some volatility, as in, like, we're going to see days where it's going up and down 20, 30% in one day, simply because they're coming into their utility phase. Well, they started their utility phase already on this impulse here. And that's a very encouraging sign, because we can see that there was a pretty significant line here of support as it bounced off a few times, dipped underneath, and came out and used that line of support to create a new high on September 29th. And the fact that it's come back down and accumulated some more, bouncing off of this long-term trend line, is indicative of a good position for it to reach its all-time high. Between here and the all-time high is a 388% increase.
So there's no way that we could get some of that.
Yeah, we can add to this one. Yeah, you can add some. I don't have any bought right now, but it is definitely at a good time right now, simply because it's it's bouncing off of this line, formed a new high here, is reaccumulating. This is just what we see happen. It's the people that buy here that take some really nice short-term profits, 15 days, and they profited about 160%. Then what they do is that they sell to all the people who are late to the game. And then what happens is that the people who are late to the game panic, because that's what they do. They're late to the game because they trade with their emotions. So when they see that they're dropping down 40%, they panic, and then they sell back to the people they bought from. And this chart here tells me that's exactly what happened. Alrighty, Link AI. This one here is in a beautiful position again. I made mention of this M formation, another good pattern, a price pattern that shows that we're building a lot of strength and accumulating volume at this point of support. This trend line has been nice and gradual, and that is also indicative of a lot of more level-headed plays being made. And so right now, because we're above this pivot zone and holding its own, by the end of the day, I would expect us to see this price close above this line, and that indicates that we're headed up towards the next pivot point, which is the 19-cent level. So between here and there, already that's already a 32% increase, and I think that could happen within a day or two. Once we get above that and we see the price close above that line a couple of days, we'll probably see it retest. So I think it'll be something like this. We'll see a little bit of a resistance come back up above. We'll retest that line before headed towards that all-time high. And between here and the all-time high, clicked a bunch of lines again. Between here and the all-time high is a 94% increase, but this is just the beginning. Again, this chart is very, very new. It doesn't have a lot of history. So what we're seeing here is very much the early stages of a chart. If we go back to something that's been around a little bit longer, let's say the Injective token, you can see what the chart looks like when it first starts out. It comes in, it's got some drawdown right out of the gate, and then it goes up. Well, this project started back in 2021. This here is indicative of a starting point. And that's why I boxed this, because this here, the way that this price came down so far to the one, this was $1.12, and then came up. This was a 700% increase, and then we had this consolidation where it stayed there for a while, blasting out and rising yet again 127%. This here was that starting point for the project here. Well, starting here because this is where the idea came into fruition, and then it needed some time to develop. Well, this here was where they finished their development, and now people get excited about it and they're coming out. Well, with Link, this here, yes, we may go back down, but because of the timing of this bubble in AI and because of where this project is in their development, this here to me reminds me of the Injective token little tiny box that we were showing here, where it really just ranged back and forth for that period of time as they were developing and building and getting ready to launch. Same idea here. This whole chart, since its beginning, has just been accumulating, getting ready to go and take this one to the moon. so to speak. Yeah, so if it goes down, I currently don't have anything holding right now in this one, but this would be this is definitely a good time to come in. You may even want to wait, see what kind of a bounce off of this high, because I think that this line here at that 18-19 cent level, I think that will show some resistance simply because it has in the past. So you may wait to see the pullback from that resistance point before purchasing. But it's not wrong to get now. Dollar cost average either way. Here is 01 Labs. The ticker sign is DEAI. Formed a whole new high today. I am still wanting to see a retracement. I don't like coming in while it's still going up. While an asset is forming new highs, you want to wait, because those new highs, it's kind of like could fall out from underneath you at any time. So I'm waiting to see a pullback, but I'll be marking this all-time high. So we've got that mark, so that we have that bookmark. Right now trading at 60 cents US. I would want to see this pullback, hopefully back down into this pivot zone here. That would be where I would be accumulating and head up towards the expectation for this when it shoots up is going to be $1. And so if it dips back down into this area, or even if it just hits the 50 cent mark, I'll definitely be reaccumulating, or I'll be accumulating some of this asset. Next, FAR. This is probably my most exciting one that I'm a part of right now, simply because of the price point that we're at, under 1 cent. Still 0.928 cents. And we are, we were down to 0.8 before. We've already gone up 1/1000th of a cent. And at this level, that is an 8% increase from the position that we started on October 8th. I think you also got some FAR, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So that would have been the 11th. You got it at even a better price point than I did. Let's go check this out. On the 11th, in the morning, here we are. You got it almost, look at this. You got it in this area here, almost at the very bottom of this price. Crazy. What a great spot. And since that time, it has gone up 11%. So congrats on that one. Good trade. Good position to grab. The reason why I'm most excited about this one is because that all-time high. Mm-hmm. This point here is at 21 cents. Now that might be like, well, that's not very expensive. I mean, look at this. We got, Link is already at 15. What's it? 0 by 0? No, which one is it? There's one. Oh yeah, Injective Tokens at $21.
Concrete.
How is it that I can get so excited about a 22-cent coin? Well, because we bought it at under a cent. That means that between this point and that point, we're looking at about a 2,500% rise. So this is going to be a longer hold, probably 2 or 3, well, I should say longer hold, likely 3 months. But across 3 months, I have no problem making 2,500% in 90 days off of a trade. That's pretty nice. Because I mean, if you put in $500, you're still going to make, what, 12,000? That's good. Mm-hmm. All right, this is Tron. Tron is actually the main coin that is used to provide liquidity for FAR. And so I am, is that right? Yes, I think that's what it was. Yes, Tron is FAR. And, or is it?
No, said Probe. You said.
No, that's right. FAR is on Polygon.
Yes.
That's right. I brought in Tron because there is a coin. That's right. Sundog is actually based off of Tron. And so I'm watching the chart because of its consistency. We've seen over the last 2 years, nice, consistent growth. This tells me something about the coin. If we take a look at even XRP across 2 years, the volatility is actually concerning. Whenever I see this kind of thing, it's like, what's that all about? But when I see a consistent price growth over that period of time, that's nice, especially since, it's been 2 years. We're coming up to the 2-year mark and consistently been growing to the point now where it's 247% increase. That's nice. When you've got other ecosystems that have gone down, like XRP over the last 2 years hasn't gone up to 200 that much. It's only 115% across the last, that's not even the last 2 years. Hang on. Where is November? There's November.
I'm sorry, which one is this?
This is XRP, Ripple. So Ripple has only gone up 49% in the same time that TRX has consistently, again, this is about consistent price, gone up 240%. So I put this on the chart because it's well worth watching. But XRP still ranging back and forth, even within what we were talking about last week, how it was up here, but now has come back down and is pushing up against, is now using this line as support. You can expect this to continue. This asset in particular, I believe they're going to want to bring it into more of a stable price because it's being used so much within institutional banking. And institutional trading. So I think that this one here is going to maintain this general back and forth between these two lines as we continue. Similar to as it has with these with some volatility. Again, I think these points of volatility, because of the nature of this blockchain, I believe that this here was just manipulation, price manipulation, because as soon as it reached this point, it just came right back to that same average, price action that it has been doing for a while. So I don't know what this line is doing here. On to Polygon. Polygon itself is actually a great spot coming down. We have a similar price breakout that we saw. I think it was with ARK. Maybe it was Woo. No, I don't know which one it was that I was thinking. Oh yeah, similar to Injective Token, where this trend line got broken out, and since that time, it hasn't even bothered to retest that line. This Modic is now doing the same kind of thing. It broke out, maintained it, but didn't even form a lower low than what was on August 5th, and it has been maintaining its own support at about the 36 cent level, and very, very good time right now to grab some of this to reach the all-time high, which we go back. That all-time high goes a long ways back from December 21. Yep. And so between here, where we are right now at 37 cents, and that almost $3 mark, we can expect it to hit that $3 mark simply because of the psychological aspect. And that's a 700% increase. Again, this is going to be a longer play, probably 3 to 6 months. ADA. ADA has definitely been holding its own in this area of support, this pivot zone around the between the 32 and 35 cent level. Today, breaking out, it looks like. We'll see what happens. It would need to come above. Yeah, it would need to come above this level here, basically where we're at. Let's get a proper line on this one. Let's call it 5. So this level here, the 36 cent level in US, I would want to see us close above that for a couple of days. but I do expect this to come up and bounce off of this trend line, using this line 36 cents as support to get up to the next point. After that, it may dip back down to retest the trend line, but then that's where we'll get the leg up over top of that 40.5 cent level, where we can continue on upwards. So I'll keep that drawing there just as a guideline for what I think is going to happen. If it does dip back down, great, awesome, accumulate. I'm constantly trading Cardano just because this is where my own private foreign trust is residing. And so I watch this carefully, because when it comes time for the trust to send me some money, I want it to be the most optimal returns. So yeah, that's ADA. And then we are now on to the two gold standards for the blockchain ecosystem, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum had a nice little push today. There was a lot of price action bouncing around here. It is definitely shot up above the support at 2,500 and is, it's looking like it's going to test this trend line here next. But bear in mind, folks, that a lot of people are excited about what it is going to do. And I'm excited too. I'm quite certain that it's going to do well. But we have two other trend lines yet to beat out before the bulls can say they're winning. And right now, it's right now consolidating in this pendant pattern. So we can expect this to I'm going to expect this to bounce back and forth before we see a breakout. It'll retest that, possibly retest the center of the pennant before hitting up to the next level. And again, we have yet to beat out this trend line here. Bitcoin, nice bounce off over the last 6-7 days. Been seeing it bounce off of this level at 60,000. We do have a fairly strong trend line going to provide resistance here over the next week. So we can expect this to retest this zone before it gets up. I would want to see a couple of good days of closure above this trend line before I say that the bulls are winning. Be mindful that there is also the chance for this to come back down and even retest this line here at 50,000. Some people tell me that that's fear mongering saying that. I don't call it fear mongering. I just call it reality, because this is the single-handedly the most manipulated asset in the crypto sphere. And then last, closing the market analysis off, because we had that nice big push in Ethereum over the last week or so. We do see ADA dropping in price against it. But as you can see, even there were 4 days where it was following along and even increasing on average, increasing over those few days. Today and yesterday, because of Ethereum's larger push, ADA did drop down against Ethereum, coming back to this point of support at 3 zeros and a 1. And that's about it. That's all I got for market analysis today. Any questions?
Nope.
Awesome.
Just trying to see in my head make it all make sense.
Yeah, of course. Every time you listen, you'll catch something new and you'll learn something new and apply it to your analysis as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's, and it's just, I can't think it's for me watching the trends.
Yes, of course.
Because I've never really,
Yeah, and it is. It really is. I'm glad that you're jumping in, both feet getting wet. But I don't usually recommend people do that. It's good to watch the charts for a while and get a feel for how do the markets move. And if you wanted to if you wanted to just watch it kind of out of the corner of your eye, it's actually quite fun. If you take, for instance, gold. Gold doesn't move a lot in comparison to cryptos. But if you go down to a 15-minute chart, you can see a lot more micro movements. And by watching the micro movements, you can start to recognize the patterns. And of course, you recognize the patterns faster because you're just seeing more movement on such a chart. When it's a daily chart and you're only seeing the price action once a day, then it takes a lot more of the pattern to recognize a pattern. It takes a lot more action to recognize the pattern. When you go down to smaller time frames, you can start to get a feel for the ebb and flow of the price action. So this is a great chart to watch. And look at this, today and yesterday, a drop in price. Yeah, gold had a nice little peak there and has dropped 0.44%, which again, that's not much. 0.44% is only $11 against the $2,600 price point. But still, that's a significant movement that is worth watching. I think it's interesting how this point here provided some resistance in the past and then support now. I would be surprised if the price comes back below that, simply because of the nature of this reset. I'm quite certain that gold will probably I'm quite certain gold will never be $2,300 again. 26 is even this point here, this is the 2,500 is a psychological level as well. That would be another big surprise if the price went below that at this point.
Cool.
So yeah, well, thanks so much for joining, and there are a couple of people watching live as well. Leave a comment if you have any charts you want me to analyze. If there are any financial instruments that you'd like me to provide some perspective on, I have no problem adding to the market analysis with more than just what I'm interested in. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too.